Pakistan has appointed Maulvi Abdul Kabir as the new acting Prime Minister of the country, replacing Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund, who has been unwell for a while. Abdul Kabir, who is said to be very close to the Pakistan establishment and the ISI or the Inter-Services Intelligence, was given the top post by the leader of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, Maulvi Hibatullah Akhundzad. Taliban has said that Hassan Akhund, who has served as the Prime Minister since the group's return to power in 2021, was unwell and will remain off duty until he recovers. Abdul Kabir has been named in many suicide attacks in the past and also been sanctioned by the United Nations. The Taliban government sources have told CNN News 18 that Hassan Akhund had gone to Kandahar city during the time of Eid and since then has not returned. The Kandahari leadership so far has not issued any statement. They are tight-lipped about the well-being of Hassan Akhund himself and the caretaker Prime Minister, Abdul Kabir. He actually hails from the Zadran tribe in the eastern Paktika province, and he previously served as the governor of Nangarhar province during the Taliban's former regime between 1996 to 2001. Nangarhar is been allegedly the hotbed for terrorist training camps like the Lashkar and the Jaish. A lot of the camps have moved out of Pakistan into that hotbed area, and that was a huge bed for recruitment even in the time when he was governor between 96 and 2001. He's an international face of the Taliban and was member of the group's negotiation team in Qatar. He assumed various roles within the organization, and when the Taliban seized power back in August 2021, as the US and NATO forces pulled out of Afghanistan after 2 decades of war, Abdul Kabir was actually appointed as assistant to Hassan Akhund's economic deputy. He then later on took on the position of the political deputy to the Taliban's prime minister. Later, he was further promoted to deputy prime minister for political affairs, and the Taliban so far has refused to comment on his role in suicide attacks in the past. But this man, Abdul Kabir, is now the acting prime minister, and he'll continue to play that role till the time Hassan Akhund comes back, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the big development that we are sharing with you, top of this edition of The Right Stand. There is a change in the leadership within the Taliban. The acting prime minister, Abdul Kabir, is pictured on your screens. What does that imply? And in the days to come, because he is seen as a hardliner, that we'll have to wait and watch. But this is the development, that Maulvi Abdul Kabir is now the acting Prime Minister of Afghanistan. Moving on. In a big win for India, a court in the United States has granted permission for the extradition of 2008 Mumbai terror attack accused Tahawwur Rana to India. He's a Pakistani national, served within the Pakistani armed forces, immigrated to Canada and then has Canadian citizenship, but plied his wares running an immigration business in Chicago, and he is seen to be a close associate of David Coleman Headley. The US has allowed the extradition on India's request. Tahawwur Rana, Canadian businessman of Pakistani origin, being sought by India for his alleged involvement in the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. India had filed a complaint on the 10th of June 2020 seeking the provisional arrest of the 62-year-old Tahawwur Rana in order to facilitate his extradition process. The Biden administration has expressed support and granted approval for Rana's extradition to India. Now, India's anti-terror agency, the National Investigation Agency, or the NIA, is probing into Tahawwur Rana's role in the Mumbai 26/11 attacks carried out by Pak-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists in 2008. The NIA has said that it is ready to initiate proceedings to bring him to India through diplomatic channels. During court hearings, the US government attorneys argued that Rana was aware that his childhood friend, Pakistani-American David Coleman Headley, or Dawood Jilani, was involved in with the Lashkar-e-Taiba, and that by assisting David Coleman Headley and affording him cover for his activities, he was supporting a terrorist organization and its associates. It was said in the court hearings that Tahawwur Rana knew of Headley's meetings and what was discussed and the planning of the attacks, including some of the targets. The US government asserted that Rana was part of the conspiracy, and there is probable cause that he committed the substantive crime of commission of a terrorist act.
We are in very regular touch with the US authorities to ensure that there is speedy and early extradition of Tahawwur Rana. We have all seen the judgment which was given by the local US court there. that conversation of ours with the US side is continuing.
Arunima now joins us live. Arunima, what happens next? Is the extradition path to extradition cleared, or are there further judicial hurdles?
See, Rana does have 2 more appeals left. He can appeal in a higher court still, but even then, the National Investigation Agency, the legal team which was assisting the NIA, and the Indian Diplomatic Corps, they're all very upbeat for 2 reasons. If Tahawwur Rana indeed is brought to India at cases trial, this is the first time that a US court is actually giving the thumbs up for extradition of a terror accused. This is also the first time that there is a possibility that one of the foreign-based 2611 conspirators could be brought here to India to face the law of the land here. Headley entered into a plea bargain. Hafiz Saeed, Jacqueline Chooljian, and all the Pakistani conspirators are enjoying protection of the Pakistani state. So in that sense, Tahawwur Rana's extradition possibility is a big win. Second, what officials who have handled this matter also tell me is that the entire process has been a huge learning experience. In 2018, the US administration had rejected upfront when Indian government officials presented the evidence against Rana. So over the last 5 years or so, we have actually recalibrated the way we internationally present our evidence. Also, the evidence against Rana has been appreciated prima facie by the US court, because the India-US extradition treaty is very clear. Only if prima facie a case is made out will extradition be allowed. So now that the go-ahead has come from the US court, we can actually tell the international forum that Pakistan, which says we can't send Hafiz Saeed and Zakirur Rahman Lakwi because India is not giving evidence enough, for them, this court, the way the court order has come and what they have said about Indian evidence is a huge boost for India.
Yes, and that makes our case stronger with vis-a-vis Pakistan and their narrative overall. But how soon Tahawwur Rana comes is a big question. Arunima, thank you for your inputs. We'll continue to track the developments very carefully. But for the moment, moving on here on The Right Stand. To Pakistan now, ladies and gentlemen, where the action seems to have shifted from Islamabad to Lahore. Political turmoil continues to escalate in the nation. The standoff between Imran Khan and the Punjab police only intensifying, and roads leading to Imran Khan's residence in Lahore have been blocked. Both Imran Khan and the government have been locked in a tense standoff, with Pakistan's former Prime Minister holed up in his residence, claiming he's about to be arrested and that cops have surrounded the roads. The Punjab government has accused Imran Khan of hiding terrorists. The Punjab government has claimed that not 1 or 2, but at least 30 to 40 terrorists are hiding in his house, armed and well-trained. That's what their minister has come out and said in an open forum on media, saying that the geotagging also shows the presence of 30 to 40 terrorists, and Imran Khan has been given a deadline to cuff them out, to let them out. Meanwhile, Imran Khan today submitted a written response to the National Accountability Bureau, where he was due in Rawalpindi. He and his wife Bushra Bibi had been summoned in connection with the Al-Qadr Trust case. Khan had been summoned by the graft watchdog earlier in the day. He skipped the summons. In a written response, Imran has said that it was not possible for him to appear before the NAB in Rawalpindi and join the investigation, as he was in Lahore and in the process of obtaining bail in multiple cases. Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow ORF, with us, and Major Yasir Janjua, Security Analyst, joining us. Namaste and thank you very, very much. Major Yasir Janjua, what's the situation currently? Because we're given to understand nearly 400 cops have laid siege to Zama Park. That area has been cordoned off. Imran Khan says, if there are terrorists in my house, please come and take them away, because my life is under peril too. What's happening?
You're right. The police has cordoned off Zaman Park. Containers have also been placed outside. The roads leading to Zaman Park are closed. So the government is hell-bent on creating another showdown, which is only going to result in loss of life and blood, because the government seems to be on a collision course. If the courts have given, by the way, the courts have given Imran Khan respite till the 31st of May, that no, Imran Khan will not be arrested in any of the cases. And incidentally, for what he was originally arrested, the Al-Qadr Trust case, NAB, the National Accountability Bureau, has given a statement saying, well, he's not an accused. There has been no corruption in that case. And they say all that has been done by Imran Khan, allegedly, is the misuse of his authority. But no corruption has taken place, because the money actually went to the Supreme Court's coffers. So, however, Rana Sanaullah, the Federal Interior Minister, and the caretaker chief minister, they are on the same page that they want to do as much as they can to make life difficult for Imran Khan and his people. Now, some people say, well, I was on a program today and they were saying, oh, he's taken a human shield, he's put women in front of him so that he can evade arrest. The question is, he's not doing that. He's not a flight risk. He's never said, well, I will leave the country. He says, my life and death is here. It's the people who love him, who have allegiance with him, they are there with him.
But he's goading them openly.
There is credible evidence against people.
He's goading
they should
them.
Be arrested.
He's goading them openly. He's on record saying, and in his address, that's what he said. कि ये लोग so many, just a handful of policemen, a few thousand policemen and 22 crore population of Pakistan come seize the initiative, take to the streets. That's exactly what he's saying. He's saying this will be a situation like 1971 and if you don't want that repeated, you come out and take the initiative. He's calling for the protesters to come out. He's saying that. The other point is, sir, if he's protected from arrest, why did he skip the NAB summons today?
See, I'll tell you what. NAB summons, I'll go to that part later on, but you have to understand this thing. He's a politician, he's no longer a cricketer, he's a politician now. So he has to say things, some of the things he says, he has to say to his voters, his electorate. So you have to see that he's still a politician. And he has to take that part to his people also. Having said that, now going over to why did he skip the NAB summons? Because again, as we said, he's been saying all along that I have nothing to do, I'm not involved. Now NAB has converted that from an inquiry into an investigation. As per NAB laws, a person cannot be arrested until there is an investigation ongoing against him. Whereas the same NAB few days ago have said, like 2-3 days ago, they have said, well, there has been no corruption in that case. So if there's been no corruption, so why are they calling Imran Khan?
If he has done no corruption, point is so Imran Khan is allowed to play politics. Imran Khan is allowed to goad the people into committing anarchy on the streets. Imran Khan is allowed to say anything that he wants and everything that he wants on social media and continue to evade summons, giving one bahana or reason or the other. But the government is not allowed to keep law and order under control. The army is not allowed to go ahead and take action against those who attack their soldiers. And the government of the day cannot investigate charges of corruption. The National Accountability Bureau cannot conduct an investigation. ये तो सब one-sided हो गया ना. Politics सिर्फ इमरान खान के लिए. सब कुछ. Sushant Sareen has been listening. Let me bring him in. How do you read the situation currently, Sushant Sareen?
Anand, I think it's very clear Imran Khan is going down. He is being dismantled. He's probably going to go into jail. I don't agree with the major out here. Because I think the details of this entire case are far more murky than what he is making it sound to be. And I could go into the details of the case, but clearly misuse of authority is also corruption. So there might not be any cash that he has taken, but misuse. What was the misuse of authority? That there was a businessman who had been levied a fine of something like 500 billion rupees because of the land grabs he had done, and there was a certain schedule of payment he had to make. Now this same businessman had ill-gotten wealth in the UK. That ill-gotten wealth was taken by the UK authorities, and it was impounded out there under UK laws, and it had nothing to do with what the Supreme Court had charged this fellow. And that government passed on the money to the UK government, passed on the money to the Pakistan government. The Pakistan government used this money to deposit this money with the Supreme Court as part of the fines of this particular businessman, even though this money should have come into the coffers of the Pakistan government. So one, that is a clear misuse of authority and a clear favor which is being given to a crony. And in return, Imran Khan and his wife, that pious lady, get this massive plot of land where they make a university in which I don't think anybody studies. You know, so there was a clear quid pro quo. Now, the problem right now is that Imran Khan is continuing to cock a snook at the authorities. If any other political leader had refused to even present himself before a NAM inquiry, they would normally be arrested. Imran Khan has refused to go in front of anybody because the courts have been protecting him. they have given him, this blanket immunity, which is highly unusual and extraordinary. But clearly, I think, the crackdown has started. All his second and third rung leaders of the party are either being picked up, arrested, detained, or they are deserting the party. They are resigning en masse from the party. And all that flotsam and jetsam of Pakistani politics, the electables and what have you, who had been collected by the military to prop up Imran Khan, that's all being taken away from him. So I think in many ways, he is this entire thing, this entire aura of his is being dismantled. Now, if the cops move in, I think after what happened on the 9th of May, it's very clear that there will be no kid gloves anymore. The gloves have come off, and if anybody wants to dare the cops, then or the military for that matter, then I think blood will flow, and it's very clear. Because when the authorities say that there are terrorists in Imran Khan's house, one of those terrorists, you have to understand how they are defining the terrorists.
Right.
They're defining the terrorists as those saboteurs who were involved in the attack on military installations. And I'm surprised somebody like Major Janjua, I don't know, maybe he doesn't depend on his pension anymore and has nothing to do with his army anymore. But for what he's saying on your channel, I suspect he might end up losing his pension, as many other officers have. But the thing is that the people who attacked those installations have been designated as terrorists by the military and by the government.
Yeah.
And that includes a nephew of Imran Khan who has taken refuge in Imran Khan's house. So when the authorities say there are 30 to 40 terrorists who are taken refuge in Imran Khan's house, these are people who are members of his party but who were involved in the attack on government installations or called for attacks on government installations or led mobs which broke into government installations, military installations and attacked them. So clearly this situation is going out of control, and I don't think Imran Khan is likely to come out of it.
Clearly Imran Khan has a reading of what's going on. One of the aspects you touched upon, it's highly surprising that an Islamabad High Court will give him protection till the 31st of May against all cases that have been filed or are going to be filed. Now, where do you hear a court order like this? The other aspect is if the cops have surrounded that place and what are they waiting for? Why are there 400 cops sitting there for the last 12 to 16 hours, 18 hours? What are they waiting for?
So on the second thing first, I think very clearly they're making him sweat. There is very little he can do about it anymore. There are people who are exhorting his supporters to come out on the streets, and most of these guys who are exhorting Pakistanis to come out on the streets and fight for Imran Khan are all sitting outside Pakistan.
Right.
They're such cowards. None of them is in Pakistan and putting their money where their mouth is and coming out and leading the crowds to protect Imran Khan.
Correct.
But on the immunity question, why I say it's highly unusual is that not only has he been given immunity in all the cases which have been filed against him, he has been given immunity in any case which might be filed in the future.
Correct.
Which means that if Imran Khan was to go and kill somebody tomorrow, you can't arrest him simply because he has been given that immunity.
Not just that. Imran Khan and it is his supporters who went ahead and created this large-scale vandalism and violence. His supporters are openly there. How can the courts overlook that, or somewhere they are trying to justify what has happened on the 9th and 10th and 11th, saying that, oh, you go and arrest somebody so that that person can unleash mayhem across the country and the courts will come and back you on it. Well, this is also a mockery of judicial standards. The Pakistan...
That is precisely what the problem is, isn't it? Because the way the courts have behaved, look, if the courts were unbiased, if the courts were not taking sides, if the courts were going according to the letter and the spirit of the law, a lot of things would not have happened in Pakistan. But the courts have, blanket bails. There were opposition leaders who were not given bails for over a year.
Right.
And here you have cases where people are being given bail within a day, within 2 days.
Not just bail within a day. They are being given prevention from arrest. Cases,
Exactly.
So that's the next level. So, and that's not partisan. That's fairness of the courts. Fantastic. So,
Anand,
now, one minute, Major Janju, I'll come to you. We got news coming through from Pakistan, and this is again a CNN News 18 exclusive. Shehbaz Sharif, the Pak Prime Minister, has called for an emergency cabinet meet. Shehbaz Sharif has summoned urgent cabinet meeting, and this meeting is scheduled to take place on Friday. All 13 parties of the Pakistan Democratic Movement, or PDM, this coalition, will be attending this meeting on an emergency basis. And Pak government sources are telling CNN News 18, our investigations editor Manoj Gupta getting us these details. This meeting is likely to discuss the Army Act. And sources further say this meeting will brief the PDM partners about the action establishment is likely to take against Imran Khan. Imran Khan versus government is not acceptable, and the message conveyed to him is either leave the country or be ready to face action under the Army Act. This is where Imran Khan says, मैं देश छोड़ के नहीं जाऊंगा, और इनका कहना है देश छोड़ के जाओ, otherwise the Army Act conditions will be invoked. And then don't blame us. We are giving you enough and more time to take the call, make the call. Major Janjua.
Okay. With all due respect to Sushant, the fact of the matter is, I am absolutely clear on this. If there are terrorists inside the Pak, army has not said that they're going to spare them. And Imran Khan has not said he's going to. He says if there is evidence against
Imran Khan has called the Pakistani media to Zama Pak. He's speaking to them.
एक अफरा तफरी मुल्क में मची हुई है, एक पूरा जोर लगा हुआ है कि किसी ना किसी तरह इमरान खान का रास्ता बंद किया जाए कि ये मुल्क के लिए बहुत बुरा है, इसको नहीं आने देना चाहिए। अगर इलेक्शन भी ना हो, आइन भी टूट जाए, कोई सुप्रीम कोर्ट को भी जलील किया जाए, लेकिन इसको नहीं आने देना। इसके पीछे है क्या? मैं जरा आपको पहले ये ग्राफ दिखा दूं। ये जो आपके सामने है, ये जरा ग्राफ देखिए। ये है सर्वे का रिजल्ट। ये सर्वे का रिजल्ट में ये जरा इधर देख लें कि 70% इस वक्त तहरीक इंसाफ की मकबूलियत है पाकिस्तान में। बाकी सारी पार्टीज की मिला के भी तो जो मकबूलियत है, उन सबको अब खौफ है कि इलेक्शन अगर आ गए तो ये हार जाएंगे। अब ये पीडीएम की जमातों ने तब से फैसला किया हुआ है कि इलेक्शन भी नहीं लड़ना, क्योंकि इलेक्शन अगर हो गया तो इमरान खान आ जाएगा, और अगर इमरान खान आ गया तो उनको ये नहीं फिक्र कि मुल्क को अच्छा होगा या बुरा होगा। उनको फिक्र ये है कि इन्होंने अरबों रुपए के अपने करप्शन के केस माफ करवा लिए, और इनको डर ये लगा हुआ है कि जो 30 साल से मेहनत से इन्होंने पैसा चोरी का इकट्ठा करके बाहर रखा हुआ है, किसी तरह उस पैसे के ऊपर यानी वो महफूज रहे। और खतरा इमरान खान से, क्योंकि बाकी तो सब मिले हुए। अब इसकी वजह से ये सारा मुल्क तबाही के रास्ते पे जा रहा है कि सिर्फ इस खौफ से कि हमारा आपके पैसा ना या कि एनआरओ ना वापस ले ले, बस।
So this is what Imran Khan has to say. Imran Khan says he's the only messiah for the people of Pakistan, Major Janjua. He's the only honest man there. Everybody else is corrupt to the core, and the surveys say he has 70% approval ratings, and that's what is going to happen. If they get him out of the way, they are all safe. If he comes back to power, they are all worried about where their money will be. He's the only holier than thou in Pakistan.
Anand, he said in 2011, and his video message is on record, where he said they will all unite against me. And you see now that the erstwhile enemies, People's Party and the Muslim League Nawaz, they've been fighting with each other all through the 90s. One government.
No, but how did he come to power, Major Janjua? How did Imran Khan come to power? Please tell me. What did Imran Khan do when he came to power?
So when Imran Khan comes to power, you think somebody brings them in, and all others come in on their own, right?
So nobody comes in on their own. We are very clear. We have no.
So are we.
So then Imran Khan can't claim to be holier than thou, Major Janjua. You are answering your own question.
No. So I did not say. Why are you putting words into my mouth? What I'm saying is Imran Khan was one person who just won his one seat in 2002, and then slowly, gradually, he has been moving on and on.
The last election, which
today
happened,
where he is.
The last
today
election,
where he is.
How wasn't Nawaz Sharif moved out of the equation? Aren't there judges of the court whose audio tapes are again viral,
Sushant,
just like is the case that they were asked to ensure that he is named in those cases, and that even as family, Nawaz Sharif, Maryam Nawaz also is named there so that she doesn't come. Didn't Imran Khan crack down on Maryam Nawaz and her wife and her husband, who was picked up? What didn't he use the forces and the army? Didn't he give an extension to Qamar Javed Bajwa? This man is the one against who had to decide the price of roti naan in his tenure in Pakistan. Major Janjua, this was the man against whom the Awam had taken out morcha against him, saying, what have you done to Pakistan? He is today, 18 months later, coming out and saying, I am holier than thou. I am the only messiah for Pakistan.
No, he's not saying holier than thou. What I'm trying to say is, he was actually at the lowest ebb of his popularity. And if these people, unfortunately, did not jump in to take the power, he would have died his own death. They've made him a hero. So, what Sushant was saying, I just have to quickly tell you this, that Nawaz Sharif went to England for treatment on just a 50 rupee affidavit. That was also given by the same Islamabad High Court that you are today talking about, who has given him blanket immunity against any arrest. And last year, the Supreme Court, the same Chief Justice of Pakistan, who you now think, or others, so many people want to think that they are protecting Imran Khan. He's the Chief Justice.
There is one more. I think what we got earlier was what he said yesterday. This is what he's speaking today in this dark blue kurta. I just want to quickly play that out a bit and then I'll come to you, Sushant ji. Yeah.
मैं इतना जानता नहीं हूँ, लेकिन मुझे एक के ऊपर सबसे ज़्यादा अफसोस है, वो मेरा बहुत पुराना हमारी पार्टी की जिसने बड़ी जान मारी है, आमिर कियानी की, तो मुझे बड़ा अफसोस हुआ उसके जाने का। लेकिन इनके ऊपर बहुत प्रेशर है और हर कोई प्रेशर नहीं ले सकता। तो ये मैं अपने लोगों को भी कहता हूं कि उनको कोई बुरा भला ना कहे। जिस तरह का प्रेशर पड़ा हुआ है आज, इस मुल्क की तारीख में कभी लोगों के ऊपर ऐसा पॉलिटिशियंस पे प्रेशर नहीं पड़ा। पकड़ के लोगों को जेलों में डाल रहे हैं, फैमिलीज घरों में घुस रहे हैं, औरतें हैं, फैमिलीज औरतें हैं वहां, उनको औरतों को साथ उठा के शेरिया रफरीदी और उसकी बीवी ले गए जेल में। ये कभी हुआ है पाकिस्तान में? कभी कि किसी उमर उस्मान डार के घर में घुस के सारा घर तोड़ दिया और उसकी वालदा से जो उन्होंने किया, ये कभी इस मुल्क की तारीख में हुआ है? जो औरतों को, जो सीन्स आई हैं औरतों के बाल पकड़ रहे हैं, जिस तरह उनको घसीट रहे हैं, ये ना इस मुल्क में हुआ है और ना ये हमारा जो रवायतें हैं, जो हमारा दीन है, ये कोई इसकी चीज की इजाजत नहीं देता। और इस सब चीज के अंदर क्या चीज रह गई है कि जो लोग ये प्रेशर बर्दाश्त कर गए, मैं अपनी पार्टी के वो लोग जो प्रेशर बर्दाश्त कर गए हैं, कौम आपको हमेशा याद रखेगी, कौम आपको भूलेगी नहीं, कि मुझे पता है आपके ऊपर किस तरह के प्रेशर्स हैं और जिस तरह आप खड़े हैं, तो ना मैं आपको भूलूंगा ना ये कौम आपको भूलेगी। और मुझे ये भी मैं वाजे कर दूं, क्योंकि ये इस तरह का प्रेशर शायद ही कभी किसी की पार्टी के लीडर के ऊपर या उसकी पार्टी के मेंबर्स के ऊपर डाला हो, जो इस वक्त हमारे ऊपर पूरा प्रेशर डाला जा रहा है। मैं सिर्फ एक चीज वाजे करना चाहता हूं कि अगर मैं अकेला भी रह गया ना, अकेला, मैं तब भी हकीकी आजादी के लिए इस मुल्क के लिए खड़ा रहूंगा। क्योंकि ये कोई गलत फहमी में ना रहे कि इस प्रेशर की वजह से मैं शायद पीछे हट जाऊंगा, जिसके ऊपर 2 कातलाना हमले हो चुके हों, दूसरा जुडिशल कॉम्प्लेक्स के अंदर जो मेरे ऊपर इन्होंने पूरा कत्ल करने का प्लान बनाया हुआ था, जिसके ऊपर 2 हमले हो चुके हों और वो फिर भी पूरी तरह इस अपनी तहरीक के अंदर एक कदम पीछे ना हटे, तो उसको ये समझ आए कि वो पीछे नहीं हटेगा। और जो मैं फिर से कहता हूं कि जो आज मेरे साथ खड़े रह गए हैं।
So Sushant Sareen, your thoughts here? Is Imran Khan going to back off now, or is he still playing? What happened at the Islamabad High Court? He's calling that an assassination attempt.
Anand, the day he gets arrested and he gets the treatment which other political leaders throughout the history of Pakistan have received at the hands of the police and the army, then I will see how brave this guy is. We've seen other leaders like Rana Sanaullah, who was tortured by the army, Parvez Rashid, tortured by the army, Zulfikar Bhutto, Benazir Bhutto, and for Imran Khan to say that this kind of stuff has never happened to women It happened under his regime. You know, there were cops who went, for example, with Maryam Nawaz Sharif, with a number of other women. They did it. And so this guy, he's a shameless liar. But I think what is important is what might happen tomorrow. This particular, this cabinet, emergency cabinet meeting, I wonder if it has been called to declare a state of emergency in Pakistan. Because if indeed that is the case, then that means that fundamental rights are going to be suspended, which means that some of the bail and other provisions which are there right now, which have been, you know, given to the PTI guys by the judiciary, which is a very compromised and pliable judiciary, I think all of that will go out of the window. So I would imagine, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was to happen. And maybe the moment that happens, then all this nafri which you have seen outside Imran's house will probably move into a catch hold of him. And you know, all those other terrorists, quote unquote terrorists. Now, those are terrorists not of the kinds of the TTP or the Taliban or that variety.
Or the
those
Lashkar,
are guys who are members of his party who were responsible for creating the disturbances, instigating mobs, leading mobs, and doing all that other stuff which happened on the 9th of May. So those are the terrorists which I think the government is talking about. And if they are in Imran Khan's house, then maybe they will also throw the book at Imran Khan, guilty by association, guilty by leading these guys. Who knows what might happen, because in Pakistan, law is what, when you see a person, you decide the law. Law is not what is written in the statute books. Law is depending on, and justice is depending on who is in front of you. The face decides the case, not anything else. So I think that's the way this thing is going to go down. We've seen it in the past. I think that template hasn't changed at all in Pakistan.
Is Imran Khan pushing the ante to the extent that the PTI itself gets barred? There could be a possibility, Major Janjua, that Imran Khan has to back off. Imran Khan will be moved out of the equation. But is he creating a situation where he is saying that if I'm moved out of the equation, PTI will also be moved out of the equation? Because he's brought things matter to that kind of a tipping point.
See, both of the sides to this equation have to bring these temperatures down in order for the country. Imran Khan has a very serious role to play in bringing these temperatures down. So has the government. And unfortunately, both of them, the government and Imran Khan, they are entrenched in their trenches and they are not ready to move out an inch out of there. This is why you find this stalemate. This is why you see the things heating up even further. Imran Khan is continuing his mantra. Rana Sanawallah is not changing his views. So why will there be a change if both parties to this? So if they don't come and sit and discuss their problems, this is not going to change. And that's why you see. Now the question you've asked is that Imran Khan's PTI is going to be banned. Yes, the politicians in the government, they want Imran Khan out of their way because they know he's a threat. Rana Sanawallah's interview, you should play on the television. He says loud and clear, either he will stay or we will stay. If he stays, we'll be wiped out.
No, but it is Imran who's brought matters to an आर-पार की लड़ाई. Right now, the option given to him is very clear. देश छोड़ के बाहर निकल जाओ, नहीं तो फिर otherwise we are going to take concrete action, and that the Army Act will be applied on him. See, he has given enough and more evidence to justify the Army Act to be applied on him and be designated a person of interest and a terrorist by default, because he is on record exhorting anarchy on the streets. He is on record backing this kind of the scenarios that we. Not once has he said a word about what happened on the 9th and 10th of May. He just said, I didn't know.
Anand, let's put the facts right. He stood in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court asked him and he categorically condemned whatever happened on the streets. And he says, I was not there. I did not have communications, but I absolutely will not condone anything.
And you as a former Fauji are willing to believe that.
Anand,
you as a former Fauji are willing to believe that. And you are saying that we should believe it.
I am a Pakistani. So importantly, listen to this, Anand. Who knows, there were people from the Gullu butts of PMLN, those who have been known for doing such things. How do we know that the people who did this But PTI guys, do you
No,
know
how do we not
There
know
has
that the
to be an
people who did this are not members of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, whose former member is a key member of Imran Khan's party now, and who was seen at Zama Park even when the last month the violence happened? So, sir, how do we know the very people? One thing we know is that both people are playing to the gallery. Final word, Sushant Sareen, have to wind up. Yeah.
What Mr. Janjua is doing is what Pakistanis do on 26/11, what Pakistanis do on every terrorist attack. How do we know this? False flag attack. This is the same disingenuity which they show on other things they are showing in Imran Khan's case. There are recorded video clips of his sisters, of his party ministers, all kinds of people exhorting mobs to go to the GHQ, exhorting mobs to go to the Corps Commander's house, exhorting mobs to go to the ISI headquarters.
They will meet their Waterloo.
So you're saying that
whether they are Imran Khan's sisters.
Then the Farishtas came and did what they did. But the fact of the matter remains, Anand, this guy is going to go down, and frankly, there cannot be a compromise simply because the army does not want a compromise. Army does not want, because
got nothing to do with it. Why do you guys want to bring army into it?
What one is hearing from across the border, it is very clear that there were intermediaries who tried to intervene and tried to calm things down. But apparently they've been given a very clear-cut message by the military establishment that there can be no talks with Imran Khan, there can be no compromise with this bunch of people, because what they have done is simply unacceptable, and that they will be made to go through.
Well, somewhere those battle lines are now drawn. Those lines were drawn when that barging into GHQ Rawalpindi and ISI offices and the Corps Commander's house being ransacked despite his family begging and pleading, all of that happened. Those lines have been drawn very clearly. Sushant Sareen, Major Janjua, thank you very much. I think in the next 12 hours, or sorry, if not 24, we will be speaking with each other very soon, because something's going to give there over in Pakistan. Closer home, ladies and gentlemen, quickly bringing you up to speed on two major developments, and that happened in the courts of our country. The top court, the Supreme Court, upheld the Tamil Nadu government's law allowing bull taming sport of Jallikattu in the state. The five-judge constitution bench headed by Justice K.M. Joseph stated that when the legislature has declared Jallikattu to be a part of cultural heritage of Tamil Nadu, then the judiciary cannot take a different view. The order will have a bearing on Karnataka and Maharashtra as well. So what did the Supreme Court observe? The court asserted that Jallikattu is a part of cultural heritage of the state of Tamil Nadu, and that they are satisfied on materials that Jallikattu is ongoing in Tamil Nadu for the last 1 century. The court said whether this is as part of an integral part of Tamil culture requires greater detail. The bench observed that judiciary can't take a view on the same, and it is best suited for the legislature to decide. It also highlighted that the Tamil Nadu government stance that it is an incorrect notion that sports and entertainment can't have cultural value. The Supreme Court said that Amendment Act and rules substantially minimizes pain and suffering to the animals. The top court also said that notwithstanding the cruelty involved in Jallikattu, it cannot be termed a blood sport and nobody is using any weapon. The court also observed that people who participate do not take part in the event to kill the animal, or they are neither trying to extract blood. The court also observed the amendment having received presidential assent, and they do not think there is any fault in it. The court said decision on the TN Amendment Act will guide our decision on the amendments of Maharashtra and Karnataka. The Supreme Court order has now sparked a credit war between the DMK, AIDMK and the BJP. The DMK saying that it was their party who gave the best of the lawyers to fight the case. The AIDMK on the other hand said the Jallikattu ban was imposed during the UPA government, and ordinance to promulgate it was passed by the AIDMK government. It was EPS government which took efforts to resume the bull taming sport in the state. BJP's Annamalai quick to thank Prime Minister Narendra Modi for ensuring that the ban on Jallikattu was lifted. He also slammed the UPA regime for banning it and said that the ban was removed under the NDA government. So the credit war happens. The other development in the top court, setback for the West Bengal government and also Tamil Nadu government indirectly. The Supreme Court making strong observations while lifting the ban on the film The Kerala Story in the state. The Chief Justice observing that exercise of power has to be proportional and any kind of intolerance cannot be tolerated. When the government and police highlighted the 32,000 figure in the trailer, the CGI directed the filmmakers to put the disclaimer that there is no authentic data to back up that figure and that the film is a fictionalized version of the event. So what transpired in court today? Very clearly, problem is a public display of emotion. Bengal government said fundamental rights are above public emotion is what the CJI said. Preventative power with the government, Section 6 can't be used as a premium for intolerance, the court said. Then 13 people said the movie could lead to unrest. Can you ban a movie with 13 people objecting to it? Explain the figure of 32,000 conversions. Clarification and disclaimer, no authentic data. You can say that because in the movie other numbers are also mentioned. That's what has been said. Well, then, observation 1. What are the observations? 13 people can't be a reason behind banning the movie. Observation 2. West Bengal government's ban order wasn't tenable on the basis of material produced in court. Observation 3. Section 6 can't be used as a premium for intolerance. Observation 4. Fundamental rights not dependent on public emotion. Observation 5. Public display of emotion has to be controlled. Observation 6. We can protect free speech. You can't vilify a community. Observation 7. If you don't like it, don't see the film. That's what they've said. When we come back, it's the cast, crew, the makers of the Kerala story in conversation soon after this historic ruling. That movie's already crossed 100 crores. Stay with us.
Another level of tug of war going on between these CM candidates like is going on here in Karnataka, one. Secondly, parallelly you are missing on one thing, which is that what's happening in Rajasthan today. I mean, what happened in Rajasthan few years back, and the people of Rajasthan have suffered because of that, and exactly the same is being repeated in Karnataka today. Sachin Pilot was in race. He was not made the chief minister. He was with the deputy chief minister. The promise of rotation, or probably of, that after 3 years he will get the term, but that didn't happen. And now what we've seen, how the law and order has collapsed, how things have collapsed, and administration has collapsed in Rajasthan. So our concern is the same in Karnataka also. I mean, they, God bless them, they can take their time as much they want to, but ultimately it's the people of Karnataka who are going to suffer because of the tug of war going on between the leaders of the Congress party. Whether it's Shiv Kumar, whether it is Siddaramaiah, or whether it is Mr. Khadge himself.
Okay, R.K. Upadhyay, you know, this whole thing about a third candidate, Mr. Kharge or Mr. Parmeshwara, whoever it is, how much do you lend credence to that? Because, like I said a moment ago, it ends up alienating both Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. Shiv Kumar. I'm not sure what purpose is achieved by that. Have things got to a point where neither party can be placated, neither party can be sort of enthused, even if he were to lose the chief ministership, something else is given in return? Because this third candidate business, it's been floating around for a couple of days now. How much, how real is the possibility of a third candidate, a surprise candidate?
No, I don't think that is possible, because these are the two principal, actors who won this election for Karnataka, and there's no third person who has won this election. If at all some role has been played, it is by Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, giving a helping hand as a Congress president. And if you're talking about people like M.B. Patil or Parameshwar, they had a little role in these elections. So to make them as a third candidate or a possible compromise candidate, I think it will be turning the whole exercise into a farce, and it won't happen, because these two have really worked really hard to bring Congress, to this level where they got 135 seats.
So between these two, who would you choose between these two?
See, it's very difficult, and I think they should have made this decision at least a week before, when they had a sense that Congress was getting a majority. I'm sure they knew that they were getting a majority, or at least when the three observers were sent to Bangalore, and they meticulously took the opinion of each and every legislator till 2 a.m. They took them, and then what did they do with that? With all the information that they had.
No, the information there was very clear, Mr. Upadhyay. The MLAs very clearly, overwhelmingly voted or were in favor of Mr. Siddaramaiah. But clearly that's not the only yardstick the High Command wants to go by.
No, but see, by dragging the whole thing to Delhi and making a spectacle of it here, what is that you have achieved? I think they've made made Karnataka into a farce now.
Okay.
Because you have the media glare, every single meeting of, whichever leader is meeting, whichever leader is being covered, and people are speculating on what's happening. And the fact that the Siddaramaiah group went to town this morning saying that he has been selected, and in Bangalore, the preparations began for swearing in. This all, I think, must have embarrassed the Congress party.
Oh, absolutely. Today you had celebrations outside Siddaramaiah's house. You had protesters outside 10 Janpad. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing. When you have protesters outside the house of the former Congress president. I mean, that's absolutely embarrassing, because That's the point, Meeta Chakrabarti, that all the panelists are making. The BJP has also taken its time in choosing its chief ministers, not like this publicly. Not like this publicly.
Allow me to rebut to that. Congress is my party and Congress is like my mother. These are not my words. These are words spoken by DK Shiv Kumar, and give me 30 seconds or 1 minute of uninterrupted time, please. So both Siddaramaiah and Mr. DK Shiv Kumar are very tall leaders, incredibly talented, very hardworking, and we are choosing between two very tall
Ma'am, we
leaders.
know
I
all
think
of
it's a
that.
good problem. Yes,
Please
each
answer
of
the
them
question I
35
asked
MLAs
you.
were
I asked you a
consulted
simple
and
question.
the input
Can
was
I
Ma'am,
get
I'm
a point
asking you a
here?
very
was
simple
taken
question.
there.
They may be tall leaders, they may be
why
indefatigable
should
leaders,
we, after
but
getting-
why are you
after
allowing
getting-
this dirty linen to be played out in public? That's the question I'm asking.
After getting so I have a problem when you say dirty linen, because sir, answer me very simply. When someone says Congress is like my mother, there is no question of blackmailing or backstabbing. Does it seem like dirty linen
Can
being
I answer
watched
that?
in public?
Ma'am, for the
I don't
last
think
3
so.
days, this
Can you please
is
quote
playing
one
out in
single
front of the
statement by Mr.
cameras.
Siddaramaiah ji?
You're okay
So
with
we
that?
are taking our own time.
Congress
We
party
are
is
taking-
okay
what
with.
is being played out?
No,
What is
please
being
take,
played
ma'am,
out?
ma'am, you're missing the
That
point.
we are-
Ma'am, if you can calm down and hear me for 10 seconds. Nobody has a problem with you taking
Sure.
5 days or 10 days or even a month. The problem is it's
Having
all
meetings.
happening in front of the cameras. People are coming
What is
out and
happening
making
in
statements in front of the.
Vipul Amrital Shah is with us now. Namaste Vipul ji, Anand Narsimhan here. Congratulations.
Namaste.
Congratulations. How would you see the ruling by the Honorable Court today, Supreme Court?
It's a great ruling. It's a landmark judgment, according to me. It will go a long way in our principles of democracy and free speech, and people will be able to enjoy this film now in the parts where it was not allowed. So I think it's a great judgment. We have still to receive the copy, so fine print has to be read. But according to me, whatever I heard, it's amazing.
Vipulji, some amendments that you would also, as the filmmaker, would have to make in the disclaimer part, where the court has opined and Justice Chandrachud has said in the court that you would have to say that the number 32,000 has not been authenticated or verified, and the other part that this is a fictionalized version of events. So this disclaimer you would have to add. Are you open to doing that?
We will, again, I will have to study the judgment and what the disclaimer needs to be changed to. But we will abide by the Supreme Court's judgment in its totality. We are absolutely law-abiding and we respect what Honorable Supreme Court has delivered today. I think today is a day for every Indian who wants the right for free speech and freedom of expression should be happy. We are really grateful.
You say the freedom of speech, but freedom of speech also comes with certain restrictions and responsibility. So let me ask you, this whole fight has been, our argument has been based around this 32,000 number. Do you believe that that could have been avoided? Was it a tad irresponsible to go big with this 32,000 number?
Anand, let the judgment come in my hand. I want to talk about this 32,000 number in detail, but maybe today is not the right day. We don't want to say anything which might contravene, with the judgment itself. We would like to respect the judgment in its totality, its entirety.
This is what the Chief Justice has said. I'm reading out what our team was able to report from court. There is no authentic data to back up that the figure of conversion stands at 32,000. The film is a fictionalized version of events. So these are the two disclaimers that the Chief Justice has requested. Mr. Harish Salve, senior counsel appearing on behalf of the film producer, submits that in order to put the controversy regarding the film at rest, a following disclaimer be added not later than 5 p.m. 20th of May 2023. And these are the two disclaimers, Vipulji.
As I said, whatever the court has asked of us, we shall abide in letter and spirit without anything from our end. We respect the court's judgment and we shall do whatever we have been asked for.
One of the aspects is the state of West Bengal and also the state of Tamil Nadu have been asked to facilitate screening of the movie. How would you see that aspect?
I think that is the most important part of this judgment, where we were not allowed to express our opinion or our film, in many ways. I would say that it was done in a way which court has not, agreed with. And they've been directed to allow the screening, and they've also been directed that if any theatre owner is threatened, then they should provide the security. And I think that is a great thing.
But one of the charges that has been levied in court is vilification of a particular community. And that's why the court has also asked or urged the filmmakers to add this to your disclaimer, which I was telling Vipulji also, that this is a fictionalized version of events. And also around the number 32,000, saying that it's nothing, there is nothing to verify or authenticate this number of 32,000. Sudiptoji.
Okay. Now, I did not see the Supreme Court verdict, or neither I was able to talk to our lawyer as well as Vipulji, so I will not be able to comment on what exactly been said in the verdict. But end of the day, the film will run again in the West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. West Bengal and Tamil Nadu people was divided of their right. Now, in the thousands in numbers, people are writing us. They want to watch the film. So we are extremely happy that the people of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu will be able to see the film. Thank you so much, all the media, all the newspaper, television channels, common people, that you made it possible. So we always said that we have immense respect on the judiciary of our country. So definitely the verdict which has allowed those people of West Bengal to watch the film.
Repeatedly, the Bengal government has said that there is an intent to vilify one particular community. When you show Christian and Hindu girls, then it puts another religion in bad light.
No, it is now. I think this answer has been given by by Indian and international audience, whoever has seen the film. The answer has been given. I told you, I think a couple of days back, that one 19-year-old Muslim girl was constantly abusing me since our trailer was out. Then the second day of her release, she saw the film somewhere in Kerala and said, Bhaiya, I am sorry that I was constantly abusing you after watching the film. I realized that you have done a great service to the nation, and every patriotic Indian should see the film. Now, the point is, this vilification of a particular community, the change of distortion of fact, these allegations has turned into redundant. They are not valid anymore because the answer is given by the viewer who has seen the film. Now my request is, whoever is criticizing the film still without watching the film, please see the film, please go and watch the film, and then if you have the question remain with you, we are there to answer.
About 12 days ago, yes, Vipulji. Yes, Vipulji.
I want to just make one comment that every film has a bad person from some religion or some community. But we don't jump to conclusion that this film is talking about entire religion. Let me give you an example. In Sholay, the greatest film of our recent history, the villain's name is Gabbar Singh. So was Mr. Ramesh Sippy trying to say all Singhs are bad people? Or did the Singhs stood up in protest? No. Because that is how cinema is. So according to the argument made, there should be, in all the films, there should be a villain who should have no name and no religion and no visual representation of any religion. How will it work? How can we make relatable, true stories if we are not going to have the freedom like what we are trying to do here? If we are showing a terror network, how on earth it can be equated with a community or a religion? How? Please explain it to me.
You make a fair point, but there are those states which believe that their intelligence reports and there could be ruckus and there could be a law and order situation which they want to avoid, Vipulji.
That when you put a arbitrary ban without any logic or without any legal standing, how do you justify? It's the easiest thing to say intelligent report. And the film is running across the country, right? You only said that the film has done some huge numbers. And there is no violence reported anywhere. So the point is that whole country is different and one state is different. These arguments and these logics have not found any buyer, and that is why the judgment today has clearly stated that the ban has to be lifted, and the government's duty is to give protection if there is somebody trying to create a ruckus. So that's what we are saying, that this argument or this ban by itself was bad, and now the Honorable Supreme Court has corrected it, so all the Bengal people can go and watch this film, and then we can talk about it if there is anything that they find wrong in the film. We are open to that discussion always.
See, the thing is, the tragedy is, being a Bengali, I was ashamed, honestly speaking, because wherever I go, particularly being a filmmaker, we have a special position in the intellectual world, or the world of the art and cinema, that we are from Bengal. You know, the film industry is dominated by the Bengalis, and we are known as the champion of free speaking people of the country. We are known as we always high regard for the democratic values. We value the human rights. Now, a place when the country is actually the whole debate has come. The debate about our film, or the concern about the girls of this country, has taken the center stage. Suddenly, this ban, so-called ban, came up, which was actually ashamed me being a Bengali. And more importantly, without watching the film, we are told that our film has distorted the fact. Our film has maligned a particular community, which was absolutely wrong. This film must be seen by every Indian, and I think it is a great opportunity for bring back the argument, the conversation about the terrorism. We have the right to disagree with every communication, but before everything, we have to watch the film.
Yeah. Final two questions. घूम फिर के सुदीप्ता, I have to ask you this. It comes to the numbers. 32,000 बोला, 3 ही दिखाया, फिर आपने 26 लोगों को लेके आए. Then the movie clipping was talked about in court today, where Mr. Hari Salve said 2,800 to 3,200. Do you think this entire running around the numbers was not required? You could have avoided talking about the numbers.
Bipulji said very nicely that it is just a weapon to discredit us, because honestly speaking, we have understood very clearly, though we are not politicians, we don't speak with the in the language of the politician. We don't go to any political debate in any television channels. But matter of fact is, we understood that our cinema, our film has hit the bullseye, and बहुत सारे दुकानें बंद होने वाले हैं. ये जो वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स और इस देश की रिलीजियन के नाम के पॉलिटिक्स करने की जो एक इकोसिस्टम चलता है, our film is going to hit that very badly. So some people are desperate to discredit us, so they are talking about the numbers. If we can show 26 girls, we can show 2,600 girls. We can show 32,000 girls. But that is not the purpose. We are not here to win any battle.
Dada, we can't talk about the number because today we have not even seen the judgment. So let us not talk about numbers. You've said enough. And we are going to abide by the judgment of the court. We are not going to contradict it in even by one word. We are going to do it in letter and spirit. That's all that we can talk about the number later. I told you in the beginning of the show, we will come back with the answer to all the number related questions. Don't worry.
I look forward to that conversation in detail soon. But let me ask you, 9 days, 10 days ago, Vipul Shahji, for somebody who sunk his last money in this movie, as Sudipto Sen says, did you think that you would be laughing away to the bank, clocking more than 100 crore and still counting? and now with 2 more states to open their theatres to viewers in those states?
I think when I made this film, I had not made it with any commercial consideration.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. After 5 days of open bickering, the Congress party has finally managed to bridge the differences between its 2 warring leaders, Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. While Siddaramaiah will be the chief minister and DK will be his deputy, one interesting facet is that there will be no rotational chief minister's post, and also there will only be one deputy chief minister despite competing claims from the Lingayats, from Muslims, other backward castes, etc. That naturally leads us to 2 questions. One, will DK Shivkumar potentially become another Sachin pilot, because he too was promised rotational chief ministership, and it's there for all to see what's happened to him. And more importantly, if the Congress took 5 days to settle the issue of the top job and who is going to get the top job, how many more days will they take to choose a cabinet of 30 ministers? All of that and more over the course of the next hour. But first, the story of how a truce was brought about after 5 days between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. Just getting some breaking news. The CLP meeting is happening right now in Bengaluru, the Congress Legislature Party meeting, and in which Siddaramaiah has been elected as the CLP leader. We're given to understand that DK Shivkumar, in fact, proposed Siddaramaiah's name as the CLP leader. Both of them are now at the Raj Bhavan staking claim to be the next government of Karnataka. Let me go across to Harish Upadhyay, who's joining us with more details. So finally, after 5 days of open public bickering, Harish, finally the Congress High Command managed to get DK Shivkumar to propose Siddaramaiah's name as the CLP leader, and that of course has been almost unanimously backed by the entire legislature party.
Absolutely. The Congress trying for some good optics there, asking DK Shivkumar to suggest Siddaramaiah's name, propose his name. He did. It has been seconded by other senior leaders, Mr. G. Parameshwara, various others who were perhaps hoping that they would become the Deputy Chief Minister, but all of them have seconded that. And finally, the CLP cleared his name. And even as we speak, you have Siddaramaiah, DK Shivkumar and other leaders of the Congress party inside Raj Bhavan officially telling the governor that their party has the numbers and Siddaramaiah has been selected as the Congress legislature party leader, and he should be given an opportunity to form the next government. And possibly around 12:30 on Saturdays when we'll see that swearing-in ceremony. But remember, the drama is not over. Both Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar will be in Delhi tomorrow to finalize the cabinet berths. How many of those members from each camp will get into the cabinet? What are the portfolios? That will be decided tomorrow.
Harish, I just want to get a sense, if they've taken 5 days to decide who gets the top job, there are about 30 cabinet ministers that need to be finalized. How closer are we to knowing how many of them are a sure shot entry into the new government, the new cabinet under Siddaramaiah? And more importantly, you know, the ones who get left out, what is the balancing act that the Congress has? Because everybody's aspirations need to be accommodated.
Well, what we are learning from Congress sources is that at least 12 of those faces are sure shot entry into the cabinet. It's the remaining seats that will be distributed, keeping in mind how these 2 camps are demanding various portfolios. You also have to look at the caste combination. Remember, newer castes like the Lingayats and Vokaligas have backed the Congress, so they have to be given representation. And in Karnataka, regional representation is also a crucial factor. Regions like Kalyan Karnataka and Central Karnataka have given extra seats to the Congress. They need additional representation. So in the remaining, say, around 25 or 22 seats, 22 berths, all this has to be managed, and that's a difficult task for the Congress High Command.
All right, Harish, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how the story plays out. Clearly, one part of this entire drama has been now addressed by the Congress leadership. They've managed to settle the differences between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. Finally, DK Shivkumar coming around to the view that he will be Deputy Chief Minister, some important portfolios, no rotational tenure of the Chief Minister, and of course, he will continue as KPCC Chief until at least the Lok Sabha elections of next year. Meanwhile, 5 years ahead for this government, can the Congress maintain stability? We get you the inside story of what this power-sharing arrangement looks like between 2 warring war horses of the Congress party in Karnataka. So after 5 days of brinkmanship and one-upmanship, finally Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar have agreed to this compromise formula put forth by the Congress High Command. So what does this compromise formula entail? We've been talking about this for the better part of the last week. Number one, Siddaramaiah will be the Chief Minister of Karnataka. There is no question of any changes there. He will be the numero uno in the Karnataka cabinet. DK Shivkumar will be his deputy, and this was an important one for DK, that he will be the only deputy chief minister. There will be no other deputy chief ministers in Karnataka. Also, that DK Shivkumar can and will continue as the KPCC president up until the next Lok Sabha elections in 2024 at the very least. And that again was one of the key concerns for DK Shivkumar. Also, there will be no rotational transfer of power. That was something that DK was insisting on. That was something that somehow the High Command was not able to convince Mr. Siddaramaiah of. And in a sense, it would have undermined his authority. So no rotational chief ministership, at least nothing that has been publicly conveyed as of now when the decision was made today. Now, the oath-taking ceremony is going to happen on Saturday, on the 20th of May. It's going to be at 12:30 at the Kantirava Stadium. We're given to understand that on Saturday, in all likelihood, it will only just be the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister who will take oath. The rest of the cabinet will be decided later. All right, let me now open this up to our full panel that's joining us tonight on Brass Tacks. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi is Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Supriya Srinath, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Yashwant Deshmukh, cephalogist, will be joining us, of Sea Voter. And Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, also joining us. Supriya, let me start with you first. After that historic mandate that the Congress Party got, 135, the first mandate of this kind, the gravity of it, the degree of it, the extent of it has been quite phenomenal. The fact that for 5 days this public spectacle played itself out between DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, do you believe this could have been avoided?
So a very good evening, and thank you very much for the congratulations that never came in for our victory, Zaka. But I will take everything that you have said with a bucket full of salt, and I will tell you why. You have used words like drama, you have used words like differences, you have used words like public spectacle. 5 days is a lot less, actually 4 days, because the mandate came on the 13th, 18th morning it was announced.